Hello, welcome to our thought for the day. Today is a really special day. Today is Easter Sunday. It is one of the biggest and most exciting days in the Christian calendar. Today we celebrate that Jesus conquered death. He was crucified on Good Friday and died a horrible death. His disciples thought it was all over, that the man they loved, their friend, their teacher, whom they had seen perform amazing miracles, had died. Their hearts were broken and they were frightened for their own lives and were in hiding. Yet 3 days later, the greatest miracle of all happened. Their friend and teacher rose from death. He left behind an empty tomb and appeared to the women who loved and followed him. How amazing is that? The Son of God rose from death, and he could have revealed himself to anyone, but he chose the women and told them to go back and tell the men that he had risen. This morning I would like to read to you from the book of John, chapter 20, verses 11 to 18. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw 2 angels in white sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they've laid him." When she said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her. I'd now like to share a meditation with you that is imagined from Mary's perspective. I was shattered at the time, inconsolable. It was as though the bottom had fallen out of my world and there was nothing left to live for. How could they do that to him? I asked myself. How could they destroy someone so loving and gentle, so caring, so good? Yet they had. I'd seen it myself. I'd watched as he drew his last agonized breath, and it was terrible, more dreadful than I can ever describe. It wasn't just the pain he went through, though that was awful enough. It was the isolation of it all, standing there before Pilate alone, forsaken by his friends, one man against the might of an empire, groaning under the lash of the whip, alone. No one to offer him comfort, no one to bathe his wounds. Hanging upon that cross, alone. Crying out in such heartbreaking anguish, as though he was separated not just from us, but from God himself. I felt at the time I would never forget it. and that the memory of that would haunt me for the rest of my days. And so it would have, unquestionably, were it not for what came after. It was all so unexpected. Suddenly, in the nightmare of my grief, a ray of sunshine, and then joy immersing me in its light. One moment, despair. Then the next, the stone rolled away, the tomb empty, the mysterious stranger appearing from nowhere, and that familiar voice speaking my name. One moment, tears. The next, laughter. One moment, death. The next, life. And now my heart dances with delight. I still can scarcely take it in, though. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to make sure it's not all a dream. But no, it's true. He died, yet rose again. He was killed, yet conquered death. He lived and lives again. I really thought that life was over, not just for him, but for me. But I was wrong, wasn't I? For it wasn't over. It was only just beginning. It was just the beginning. Jesus offered up his life as a sacrifice for me and for you and every human being. He loves you so much. He was willing to give up his life over 2,000 years ago for you, now, today. He paid the price for all the things that we do wrong, that we say wrong, that we think wrong. He has taken the punishment on our behalf. He has given us this chance of a new life and a relationship with God. But we don't have to accept the gift. We can reject it. God doesn't force us to do anything, but the gift is still offered. We have free will. But because of Jesus' sacrifice, we can get a fresh start. We can get a new life through Jesus. I sometimes find this world overwhelming, particularly at the moment, all of the horrors of war in Israel and Palestine, Ukraine, the Yemen. It just breaks my heart. Sometimes we can find our own lives overwhelming, the problems we face in our relationships, jobs, finances, family illness and bereavement. But Jesus brings us hope. He is the Son of God who has the power to cure the blind, the lame, the sick. He controlled the waves and the wind in the storm. We can trust in him to change our lives, to change us. Following Jesus and loving God has been the greatest adventure of my life. He brings love and light into my life, in abundance. And he wants to do the same for you. If I could hope for anything this Easter, it would be that if you're watching this and you don't believe in God, that you would be curious and open-minded, explore and ask questions, find out more, go on an alpha course. What have you got to lose? And possibly everything to gain. Loving God is the journey of a lifetime, and it is worth every footstep, especially because God is walking right there beside you every step of the way. I wish you a very happy Easter, and may God bless you and those you love. Bye for now. See you soon.